Welcome, Java coders. We're going to show you how to use debug in Eclipse to take a look at the values in variables as we cycle through a loop. In this particular case, we're going to use a for loop that's going to run 8 times, and we're going to watch the value of an accumulator called total with an initial value of 0. We're going to watch how it changes as we create 8 random integers, all ranging from 1 to 10 by using the math class, and adding those integers onto our total. And what we'll do is we'll watch the value of these variables as the loop cycles in this program. Now, in order to do that, I have to set a breakpoint. And I want to watch the values change as the loop cycles. So I'm going to set the breakpoint right here on line 15 by right-clicking in the margin and selecting Toggle Breakpoint. That gives me a little indicator to indicate that the breakpoint is here on line 15. Now, I could turn that off by selecting it again, which of course is the meaning of toggle. You can turn it off and on. But we'll put it back on again. That's our breakpoint. Now I want to run the program, but I'm not going to run it the usual way. I'm going to run it by selecting Debug. That throws Eclipse into the debug perspective. We've changed the panes that are visible. This is the debug perspective in Eclipse. We have our editor window here, and in the Project Explorer window, we have a new tab for the debug, as you can see here. And most importantly, here's why we wanted to do the debug. We can watch the value of our 3 variables as the loop cycles. As you can see, their initial values are 0. Well, back here in the debug window, I'm going to click on the step over icon. I could use the F6 function key as well, but I'm going to hit this icon. Now watch what happens down here. You can see that the program has run and stopped at line 15, as indicated by the green highlight here. As I click this, we'll go into the loop. As I click step over, and you can see that the first random integer is a 3. Carry on to the next statement. We add that onto the total, so the total now is a value of 3. Keep going. Now we're in the second cycle of the loop with I having a value of 1. Our next random integer value is a 5. That's going to get added onto the 3 so that the total is 8. And so on. As we keep cycling through the loop, each time we cycle through, we generate a new random number which gets added onto the accumulator. And our accumulator gradually rises, of course, as we add these values on. And eventually, we'll get I up to the value of 8, at which point the loop will stop, because the condition will now be false. That'll stop the loop. And we'll hit it one more time, and that finishes the program. Okay. And you can see we ended up with a total value of 36 down here in the console window. Now, you'll want to get back in the Java perspective, and you can do that pretty easily by clicking on this J icon up here. And by the way, the current perspective is shown up here, that little bug indicator there, the little icon. That indicates that we're in the debug perspective. But if I click here, we can come back to the Java perspective in which we could modify our code. Okay, so that's how debugging works in Eclipse.